Hi, everyone. Welcome to Real Stories of Hurting Moms. I know what I forgot to do is close these blinds, but it's all right. My name is Cathy Taylor, and I have my friend Brenda with me here tonight, and we're excited to be here. We've been looking forward to this, and I don't even know where to start. I guess I'm going to tell them a little background about you. Well, first, let me go into the housekeeping. We were talking up until the last minute, so I don't have my head in the right place yet. trying to get organized here. Number one, let us know if you're watching for the first time. Hi, Anne Marie. If you're watching for the first time, let us know. Let me know where you're watching from. We have moms watching from all over the place. Yeah, she said hi, Brenda. And so we love seeing where you're tuning in from. Yeah, let us know about that. It's really a dialogue, and we'll try to respond to your comments and questions along the way. Notice Brenda's shirt. We said you guys might recognize there. I know everything looks backwards. Yes. You guys might. Oh, there's Betty. It's the first time. Welcome, Betty. We're so glad you're here. You guys might recognize Brenda because there's a video that most people see the first time they learn about hurting moms. And we made that video about 3 years ago. And it's Brenda and me and another mom. And we all had these T-shirts on. And so she wore her T-shirt tonight. But anyway, Brenda was in one of the original Hurting Moms groups before this was ever published, like 15, 16 years ago. Yeah. And she has been now, of course, all along. She co-led the first group with me after the new books got published a number of years ago. And she's continued to lead groups. And she's very special to me. I really appreciate her. And so I was thinking that maybe, I don't know, maybe at the beginning, you could start off by, give them a little bit of background. You were here before, but a lot of these moms haven't ever met you before. So would you tell a little bit about what brought you to Hurting Moms in the first place and where things are now? Yeah.
I started coming here because I was distraught. I had trying to remember, maybe 19-year-old at the time that was just definitely alcoholic for sure. Didn't listen to the rules. He left because he didn't like the rules. We let him back in, and he didn't follow the rules, and then we had to kick him out. And he was raised in a good home and in church, and of course I blame myself. What's wrong with me? Why, what did I do wrong? Everything under the sun was the reason he was doing what he was doing, because of me,
Of course.
Yeah. And then along with that was the shame. I was so lost and so sad. And to be honest, when Cathy asked me to be on this video tonight, I had other plans, and I'm like, Lord, I just remember how sad I was and just unsocial and ashamed. And I'm like, I just feel like I need to be here tonight. I need other moms to know there is a silver lining, not maybe with your child, but with yourself.
Yeah, for sure.
And so anyways, that my silver lining started with Hurting Moms. With the problems with my son, there was problems with our family. It affected our whole entire family. And then it affected my marriage. And when all of this was going on, I had another son, and probably about 3 years later, my other son started having issues. Talk about like, whoa. But when that second son started having issues, I was already involved in Hurting Moms. And oh my gosh, what a difference it made. I just didn't suffer. I wasn't alone.
You already had tools.
I had tools. I had friends that I could openly talk to and share with and pray with me. over my kids. Just honestly having other ladies to share with made such a humongous difference, because I've said this many times, you're as sick as your secrets. And when you are just harboring that and harboring guilt, which probably you shouldn't have, or maybe you do have some guilt, but again, that's something God wants to take from you. And the shame, that's not from God. None of it's from God. The fear, that was the thing that really stopped me from enabling, was dealing with my fear of my kids dying. That kept me in full-on enabling mode, which kept my kids in a really good place because they had no incentive to get better.
They were doing good.
They were doing good. Yeah. I wasn't. I was falling apart, but they were doing good. So it's because of that I am where I am now, which I've had, like I said, my older son is doing much better. My middle son is doing fabulous. But the last time I was on this show, my middle son was in rehab for heroin. And he has been sober now for about 20 months.
He stayed there for quite a while, right?
He was there for 14 months.
Yeah.
He was there for 14 months. Hi, Peggy. And so right now things are good. I mean, I take it a day at a time. I'm sure he does too, because that's the way it is. But because of being in Hurting Moms and my relationship just growing so strong with Jesus, and giving him, acknowledging he has control and I do not, just has taken it all away. I have freedom. I'm so free, knowing that either one of my sons could, go off the deep end any day. I don't even worry about it. I don't lose sleep about it. It's like, well, if they do, God's got this. And
you've surrendered them. You've actually been able to.
Full on.
It's kind of the goal that we have, right?
Yes.
So we talk about how we surrender them, take them back, and surrender them and take them back. But eventually, along the way, as we have the tools and we have each other, we're able to finally really surrender them.
And the last group that I led last spring, this group, we just really connected. I mean, I've connected in all my groups in different ways, but this group, we just really committed to staying together. And actually, there's been some ladies from my previous group that has come into this group. And we now walk instead of doing, because we finished our 10 weeks, we walk. We went to Rogers Gardens in Laguna. We text each other if we are feeling anxious, if anything's going on with our kids, or just not even our kids, with us, with our families, with our husbands, we text one another. And we don't even actually have to say sometimes what it is. It's just, please pray for me. Yeah. God knows. So we just, and it's just having that, those friendships, it helps me at least continue to surrender my kids and not have the worry and all of that. And the shame is completely gone. I have no shame at all.
It's so cool. It's like, it's community. I mean, I say this over and over. Yes. I talked about it a lot last week about the importance of being in community. I mean, God never meant for us to do life alone. And so many times when we're hurting over a child, we isolate because of the shame. You're talking about shame. We don't want to tell anybody. We don't want people to ask us. So we isolate, and we can't heal that way. No. We cannot. And part of that is one of the things we talked about that we want to talk about tonight is the way how important it is that we share our stories with each other, and to be transparent and vulnerable, because first of all, like I always say, talking about things takes the power out of it. I mean, if you can share your story and talk about it, and that's something that happens in a group, you can do that. You can share your story openly with other moms who get it. But just talking about it takes some of that power out of it, where you feel like it just holds you down. And then the other good thing about it is that you give somebody else hope.
Well, I was going to say your book.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if any of you have read Cathy's book, but talk about being transparent. You know, I mean,
all the dirt on me is in there.
Yeah, you know, the good, the bad, and the ugly,
yeah,
right?
There's a lot of ugly, but there's good.
Yeah, no, there absolutely is. But I know in my groups, we always share the book. We either share the book or buy the book. And the ladies have bought the book in all my groups. And it is such a quick read. And it's one of those books you don't want to put down. It's so freeing because the ladies in my group that have read them are like, oh my gosh, I can't believe she's said that and did that
out loud.
I did that too. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I get that a lot.
Yes.
A lot. I get people that have read the book that will email me, people I don't know, maybe that, and they'll get an email and they'll say, I read your book, your story is my story,
yes.
Or I related to so many things. But the thing is that, like I said, a lot of times we just don't talk about those things. And by the time I wrote that autobiography, I have had lots of years of recovery. I had lots of years with hurting mom. So I'm in a place now where I'm in a good place and I feel like a new person in Jesus. And so I feel like I need to share that story. Yes. I need to let moms know you're not alone. You're not alone. You can. There's a link above the video that says autobiography. That's where, if you click on that, you can get the book. And like you said, I looked at that little book. It's not very thick. And it was like, you know what? This is not a very big book for all these years of life experience I've had. I need to write more. Yeah. But it's pretty. It starts with my childhood and goes all the way through and how I became a hurting mom and the things that happened since then. So, yeah. And the whole reason I wrote it is to encourage other moms. If you're hurting and feel like you're all alone and you feel like your story is too crazy and horrible to talk about, right. I think you'll find, it isn't. There's only so many scenarios.
Just to throw it out there for anybody who is new, I'm obviously not going to give names, but when we're in a group, I'm going to give you some ideas of what we talk about, and nobody judges.
Yeah.
Nobody, we have a mom who went and bought pee for her son so he could take a test or get a job. So ashamed she did it, but being that we've all been there, done some things like that, we kind of laughed about it. Another mom's son, matter of factly, she said, yeah, he bought his first car with his drug money. Who can you tell that to? You can't tell that to just anybody. They would be like, what? And we're like, oh, okay, got it, understand. There's been moms where their kids have abused them, hit them, have been violent towards them. Yes. And that you don't want to tell, that stole. Many of our kids steal from us. Mm-hmm. Sneaking out, breaking the law, going to jail with them, going to court with them. We all can talk about this, and I'm going to tell you, in my groups, there are accountants, there are teachers, there are principals, there are counselors,
there's
school counselors, there's police officers, there's police officer wives, there are stay-at-home moms, there are the gamut.
And grandmas. I think, one of the things that I didn't realize when I first wrote this or when I first got involved in this was how many moms are estranged from their kids. How many kids have just said, I don't want anything to do with you and walked away, and the heartbreak that comes with that. And then there's also lots of moms that are our age. I'm a great grandma already, and that are raising their grandchildren. Yeah. And that's hard. I'm tired now. Just babysitting. I have a 2.5-year-old grandchild, and watching her for a couple hours a day just about does me. And I'm pretty soon I'm texting her, are you guys almost back?
Yes. I watched my grandson for 12 days consecutive this summer, and I'm like, there's a reason you don't have little ones when you're 54.
Yes.
I was tired every day. I was
Yeah.
like, wow.
It's a lot.
So it is. And so I have such a heart. I honestly, after having my grandson for 12 days, and he's not difficult or anything, but I just think my heart just hurts for grandmas, and I have so much respect for them that they are taking care of their grandkids. Yeah. But that's got to be difficult. That has to be difficult. And then you also have situations where there's moms that have drug issues that have kids and use their kids as leverage to the grandmas.
Yes.
And that's really hard. And my heart just really goes out to the grandmas, but again, that's something that can be given to God and prayed about, and the hope and the guidance and just the people, the support you get out of groups, is tremendous to get you through.
Those groups, I mean, I see Lisa. Hi, Lisa Wolfson. She's one of our leaders. And it reminded me, she was saying how she wishes she could raise her grandkids. There's also a lot of grandmas, and like you said, where the parents have taken the grandchildren away.
Yeah.
And they won't, and they use them, or if they've estranged themselves from mom, then they've also taken their kids. I mean, there's so many different scenarios. I mean, I believe that we all have different situations, but I believe the pain is the same. When we're hurting over a child, that pain is the same. And we keep talking here about these groups, and a lot of you that I see on here are moms that have been through groups or are leaders in groups. And so those of you who are watching for the first time, I just want you to know what we do. We have 10-week groups. And if there's on our website, you can look to see if there's a group in your area where they're springing up all over the country and all over Canada right now. But if you don't have a group in your area, we have online groups, and they're pretty amazing. I mean, you can see each other and hear each other. And so I really want to encourage you, if you haven't been through a group yet, this is where you are going to find healing. This is where the healing's going to be.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I just think to myself, oh my gosh, if all of this, being able to see videos and connect when I started this journey was available, it truly makes me tear up. I would have been so grateful because I was looking for people to fix my kids. I wanted someone to fix my kids.
Yes.
And I remember when I came, I did Cathy's with the curriculum, but in like just paper, not a book or anything.
In a notebook.
In a notebook. Her second and third groups that she ever did, because the first group I came to, and I wanted Cathy to fix my son.
I wish I could.
Yes, I know. I wanted someone to fix him. And it was after doing that group that I'm like, I need to do another group. And it was really then that I'm like, oh no, I have been looking at the wrong people. Are not going to fix my son. Jesus, God is going to fix my son if anyone is. I'm not. That hasn't worked very well for me. I tried a lot and didn't work for me. Doesn't usually work for anybody.
No, I was going to say, I asked, these months, most of us have tried really hard to fix our kids.
Oh, yes.
And I just have one question you can think about is, how's that worked out for you so far?
Yeah.
I know moms have been trying that for 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
And what happens is we lose ourselves in that.
We
lose our identity. For the longest time, my identity was that of a hurting mom. That's how I'm a hurting mom. That took over my life. Nothing else was important.
I've said this so many times. It literally sucks the spirit right out of you. Mm-hmm. Talk about dry bones.
Yeah.
There's no joy there. We are not meant to live for our kids.
Right.
That's not why God gave us kids. Those kids are God's before they're ours.
Lynn says, give it to God and go to sleep.
Yeah, amen, Lynn. Yeah, seriously.
It takes a while to be able to do that.
It does.
But you can. And that's one of the things that happens in the groups. We learn how we get tools to be able to do it. It's hard to believe, but it does happen all the time.
Yes, it does. And it, and like for me, it took me a couple of groups, to really, I don't know. It's kind of like, it's like when you see a movie, you watch a movie, and then you go watch that movie again, and you're like, oh, now I get it.
Yes.
It's things.
That's a good analogy.
Yeah. And it was kind of like that second group. It's like, okay, for some moms, the first group, the bell's going to go off, it's going to, the light bulb, and it's going to be like, okay. But for me, it took the second one. And to be honest with you, even the last group, every time I lead a group, something resonates with me that I did not see before. This last group that I did, I definitely, there was things in there that I was, because I started this group, and my son, we found out, was going to rehab, the first group, or the group before. And I was in it all over again. I was there. I just had the book that said leader, and that was about it. I was, and I was right there with all the other moms all over again, So each time I lead a group, I grow, I absolutely grow from leading the groups. And I have to say, I get more blessed by the ladies in my groups than I could ever be a blessing to them, So, and that just goes back to sharing your story.
I was just going to say, it's like, there's nothing like being on the front row of life transformation.
Oh,
because it transforms your life. And so when you lead these groups, or even being in a group, you start seeing people change. All the leaders tell me, like around week 4 or 5, before that, people, there's a lot of tears, and we're sharing our stories, and we come in, and some of us, it's the first time we've ever been able to share this stuff, and we start talking, and we work through some things, and then all of a sudden we start seeing them smile and laugh
and have jokes.
It's like
that's
complete
exactly what
transformation.
happens. That's exactly.
Never get tired of that.
No, absolutely. And that is totally 100% what happens. Everybody comes in nervous. Everybody is afraid to share their story. I have not yet been in a group. We talk about in the guidelines about being confidential, what you say here stays here. I have not once, not ever heard anybody talk outside of a group ever, because we all are on the same page.
Well, we have compassion for each other because we're all there together.
But when you show up for the first time, you're afraid. You're afraid, is this safe? It's you come out of there going, no way. 8 other women get me, like 8 other women. And sometimes you're like, wow, mine is bad, but hers was worse. Or mine is so bad, but so is hers. So, you know what I mean? You're just so comforted and so...
Just know you're not alone. It's knowing that you're not alone. When you realize, because you feel so alone in this. And for some of us have been going through this for years. And so we feel alone. But then when you get in a group and you realize, oh my gosh, I'm not the only one.
Yes.
There's nothing like it. If there's not a group in here, one thing I was going to say, online groups, like you're guaranteed, you're not going to know. I don't think anybody's ever gone into an online group and knew somebody else in there. Because you'll be in a group with moms from New York and Florida and South Dakota and Alberta, Canada. And you'll have moms from all over the place. And the groups are they can be anywhere from 4 to 12 people. They range depending on how many people sign up. But you don't know anybody in those groups. On a local group, you may have other people that especially you've done at your church. But the thing is, again, you're all in it together. So you're there to support. Nancy says, is there any groups in Connecticut? I just trained somebody in Connecticut. We just trained a new leader. I think there's going to be a group in Connecticut. So keep watching. Look on our website at the map, at the group locator under groups. And also, if there's not and you want to get into a group, I can't even can't even express to you enough the importance of getting an online group. And they are amazing. I didn't think that it would be at first,
Yeah.
but you can see each other and hear each other. It's just like you're walking into a room together. So,
and the other thing too is after you've done a group and you have those friendships and you've gotten your story out there, I know for myself, because I don't have the shame now. I mean, I don't go around broadcasting it, but when somebody starts to kind of tell me a little bit, but people at work, friends, I cannot even, it's everywhere. A grocery store, a teller, or a grocery store clerk. Yes. And they kind of start saying things. I'm not like vomiting my whole story to them, but I'm saying, I get it. I've been there. I've had a rough time, blah, blah, blah. They start opening up. You can share your story. And they're like, what?
It changes their whole day.
It's like, yeah. I mean, it makes me, I feel like my pain, there's a purpose for my pain.
Yes.
And that is to relieve other people's pain, and that God does not allow us to suffer just because. Yeah. There's purposes, but you have to trust him with that, and I have seen that personally.
A purpose for our pain. A lot of moms say that, like, we go through this, and as we start to heal, all of a sudden, like you just said, all of a sudden it just feels like everywhere we go there's hurting moms.
Yes.
I really do feel God brings us together. He brings them. And once you have something to offer, once you're not afraid to speak up about your story, it gives somebody else hope. And that's why I'm saying, and the main thing we're saying here tonight, in case you haven't recognized it, is how important it is to share your story. And some of you aren't at that place yet. This is a new thing for you. You may be in the throes of just agony and anxiety and fear and all the stuff that we go through over these kids, and that's okay. But if you go through a group and you get connected and in community with other hurting moms, you're going to heal from that. Yeah. You're going to be able to sit and talk about it like we have. Our kids, you never know. Our kids aren't perfect.
No.
At this time, I still have kids. I have an alcoholic son. I still got kids that are not doing well. But I just have so much hope and so much faith. And I feel like it's so important. And I am uplifted by the stories of you and of other moms.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's so important to share our stories. And again, we don't start off being at a place where we're able to do that.
No.
But through healing and through community and through sharing with one another, we get to that place. And then it's like all of a sudden, God starts bringing them to us.
Yes, absolutely. To be honest with the opiate addiction, there's the hurting mom now, there is just so many hurting moms, and
thousands
and thousands.
I had no idea. Do you know, even on this Facebook, on our Facebook page, and we're not even that old, we have over 39,000 followers.
Yeah.
And, it has blown my mind, honestly. Yeah. I had no idea. I started this out of selfish reasons for myself, because I was desperate for relief. I was desperately trying to seek some way that I could feel better.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm trying to run to keep up with what God's doing with it. It's Him. It's all God. Yeah. He has a purpose for it. And those of you who have been through it, and I see a lot of people who I've been a leader. Dee Dee's a leader. Lynn's a leader. I see Judy Howard on there saying hi to you too.
Hi, Judy.
There are so many people up here that I know that I remember. I mean, when I first met them in groups, they were broken too. They were a couple of these leaders were in groups that I led, and it's like now here they are leading, and they're coming on here and they're encouraging others. And there's nothing like that. There is nothing like that. Yeah. It's just so if you want to experience community in its most pure and amazing form, I really hope you'll get in a Hurting Moms group. I
So
mean,
do I.
one way or another, do it. And these other moms will tell you that. And if you're not sure about it and you just want to be encouraged and know you're not alone, take a look at the book, my book. And I'm not trying to be a salesman here. It will encourage you.
Yes.
It's why I did it. Why I put my story, and that was scary. I mean, when I wrote that, and then when it came out, and I was like, oh my gosh, because I have a big part in my kids messing up. I did some pretty bad stuff. I mean, I really haven't lived. I'm a pastor and love Jesus now, but I didn't always live like this. And so, but I put it all out there, and it kind of freaked me out at first until I started getting the comments from people saying, oh my gosh, thank you for being so honest. And thank you for being transparent and all that kind of stuff. Dee Dee, I'm looking forward to you leading again too. Dee Dee lived here in Palm Desert, and she moved to Georgia.
Oh.
And so she's getting settled. They're moving into a new place. And so I hope you will lead again, Dee Dee. We miss you.
Yeah.
So we've already run out of time. The time goes so fast when we're doing this.
It really did.
Yeah, and I would hope at least that's just what we're saying, is she's more transparent. Other hurting moms seek her out.
Oh,
and you're surprised by who they are.
Yes.
Just like they're surprised by your experience, right?
Yes.
So, hi, Lourdes. There's Lourdes.
Hi.
She was here locally. She led a group here.
Okay.
She moved out to the
Lourdes.
desert, up to Lancaster or somewhere.
Okay.
Victorville. Lourdes, I know you're out there somewhere.
Yeah.
But but that's so true. That's what we were just saying.
Yeah.
So ladies, know that you are loved, know that you're cared for, know that you're not alone.
No.
And that there is hope and there is healing. And it's going to be found in community. So get in a group, get the autobiography, and keep talking to each other on here. I love seeing your comments. I love when you go back and forth with each other. So keep encouraging one another.
And real quick, the other thing is your book of your devotional. The encouraging. Yes. Yeah.
The encouraging words.
Oh, I love it. Love it. Yeah.
I've told people this before. Those kind of minister to me. I mean, I wrote those a while back, a couple years ago, and they come up. Those, when you guys see on the Facebook, like there'll be a pretty picture and like a little devotional. Those are all of those devotionals. You can, first of all, number one, you can sign up and get them for free at our website, hurtingmomsmendinghearts.org. You can sign up for those, and every day you'll get an email. Some of you asked the question, there's 200 of them. So after 200, they stop coming. You have to sign up again. I'm going to write more when I found time to write.
But even the 200, once you get to 200 and you go back to one, it all still applies. And every group I have, I get the daily encouragement for every lady in my group.
That's nice.
And they love it. And when they read it, they're like, oh, this is like me, and then
they're short. It's not
very short.
It's not like a big, long, hour-long devotional.
Oh, no. It's like a 5-minute, and you always reference God's word and his comfort that he gives along with your words of encouragement. So that's something too, along with your book. I really encourage people, just to, because both of them are very encouraging.
And that's in a book too. So you can sign up for them and get them in your email every day.
Yeah.
And that's free. Or if you want the book, there's a book at the website too. You can go to the website store and find all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Mary, you're welcome we created this group. This is such a huge, huge blessing to me.
Yeah.
So
me too.
You all, I love you. I feel grateful. I'm so grateful just seeing your comments. I'll keep reading your comments and answer whenever I can. And I'll be back next week with another guest. And I actually have Denise with me next week. She's from Canada. Oh. So I'm looking forward to seeing you. Have a good week, all. And know that you're being prayed for and that you are loved. And most importantly, that you're not alone.
Yeah.
Take care. God bless.
Bye-bye.